Before we begin, I want to acknowledge something many of us quietly feel during the holidays and the new year. While the word talks about joy, celebration, and fresh starts, a lot of people feel pressure instead. Pressure to be happier, better, more healed, and more successful. This season can bring warmth, yes, but it can also bring reflection, grief, exhaustion, and big questions about where our lives are going. Today's conversation isn't about fixing yourself for the new year. It's about understanding yourself, mind, body, and energy. So growth feels honest, not forced. Welcome back to Mind Over Matter, the podcast where we explore how inner awareness shapes outer reality, sometimes beautifully, sometimes uncomfortably. As we step into a new year, conversations around holistic health, personal development, and manifestation becomes loud. But do these ideas always align with real life? What happens when intention meets resistance? Today, I'm joined by someone who works at the intersection of ascetic wisdom and scientific discovery, Dr. Eleanor Haspel-Portner. She's a best-selling author, educator, and co-creator of the Nobel Energy Map, helping people translate life experiences into practical, grounded growth. Alongside her husband, Dr. Marvin, she hosts weekly webinars focused on manifesting a life that truly feels alive, not just impressive of paper. Dr. Eleanor, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here and to share some knowledge with the listeners.
Mhm. So, holistic health is often talked about as balance, mind, body, and spirit working in harmony. But for many people, especially during the holidays, life feels anything but balanced. From your experience, where do people misunderstand holistic health the most?
Well, we actually live in four worlds: the mental waking world, the world of our reality, the world of transactions, how we relate in our daily life, and the responsibilities, the tasks we have to perform to just get through a day. The second world is the physical biological world. And that's a world that takes in what we're exposed to in our environment and it reacts to it. It starts its reaction unconsciously, not consciously. So a lot of the stress that people feel are stresses that come from outside in the mental waking world or the emotional world that tells them that their body is reacting in some way to the stimuli coming into them. Now, the trick, and where, as listeners, you might find that you get off balance, is that you let the emotional reactions that there to alert you to where you need to put your consciousness spiritually. And you may react emotionally in the mental waking world by getting angry, by feeling stressed, by being out of balance. The true balance comes from the spiritual archetypal world and the emotional angelic world, as I call them. The spiritual world is the world we go to when we sleep and dream. And we connect when we go into rapid eye movement or dreaming sleep. We connect with the collective archetypal consciousness of all the consciousness in the world. So we are connected to symbols, to archetypes, which are patterns that connect all humanity. And in that state, we are perfectly balanced and perfectly aware. What happens when we are interacting in the intersection between the waking world, physical world, and emotional world is that we must transform our experiences in the mental, waking, physical world into compassion and love, kindness for ourselves, kindness for each other, kindness for humanity and the struggles we go through. So, to avoid burnout, you need time to go internal, to get a sense for your goals, for your gratitudes, for what empowers you and gives you the sense of purpose in your life. Am I making sense?
Yes, absolutely. And is it possible that the idea of balance itself creates pressure, especially for people already feeling overwhelmed?
I'd recommend that when you feel overwhelmed, you close your eyes and take a few moments to breathe and to ask the following question. Given what I'm feeling, what do I know about this state of my being when feeling what I'm feeling? That's what I call a clean question. It's not asking you what you feel or what happened to you in the past. It's an open ended exploration of what you know about your state of being. And if you express gratitude about even just knowing what you know, give a because statement such as, I'm feeling overwhelmed because there's too much going on for me to sort out and know what I know. Now, that will take you to the next question. What would you like to have happen when in this state of being? So, when you're feeling burnout, it means you're on overload. There's too much going on. So, you need to break it down into pieces of knowledge and information that you can handle, that you can put meaning to, and find where you need to adjust your mood, your tasks. Are you overwhelmed because you've taken on too much? Are you overwhelmed because you have a decision to make and you don't know where you belong? Is that helpful for you?
Yes, it is. And when I hear you saying is that holistic health isn't a fixed state, it's responsive. Like it changes with seasons, circumstances, and even emotional capacity.
Yes. And given all of that, what do you want to have happen? It's a simple question, but one that we miss asking. For example, if I had asked at the beginning, before I logged on to this podcast, what do I want to have happen? My answer would have been that I want to share some knowledge that could help some of the people listening to gain clarity and empowerment within themselves. If I've accomplished that, I've reached my goal. And why would I want to do that? Because people are suffering and we're all connected. So if I can help someone be less stressed, I'm actually also helping myself and other people in the world to be less stressed because we're all connected. And when there's stress and conflict going on in the world, we all feel it. We all sense it. And right now, um, we're at a time of unprecedented cosmic energy with the solar flares on the sun that are unusually strong, with 3i Atlas in the ecliptic of our solar system, an, a body that we don't know if it's a comet or extraterrestrial or quite what it is. It's really important that all of us recognize that we are being influenced by energy and that we may be feeling more activated, more misaligned at times when energy is hitting us and we don't know who whose it is or where it's coming from. We may have people in our family that are more reactive than usual, more emotional than usual. And at times like this, it is so important to take the time to go inward and to ask ourselves, what is important to us? And who do we want to be in this situation? So, the question I always ask myself personally when I feel agitated or off balance or I don't know which way to go is, okay, God, what is so important that you would put this challenge in front of me? And what do I need to learn from this experience? Is that a helpful question for you?
Hmm. Yes, it is. Because it reframes health not as something we achieve, but something we negotiate with compassion.
Exactly. We all are challenged in our daily life every single day. Many of us, when we sit down to a meal, are challenged to eat the right foods in the right order so we feel healthier, not unhealthier. And those are choices we make every time we sit down to eat. Are you making the right choices for yourself? And if yes, have you expressed gratitude for your consciousness in making those choices? For example, I ate my breakfast this morning and I could express a gratitude. The breakfast that I ate, I'm very grateful for because it nourished my body and gave me the energy to sustain me throughout the morning and into the afternoon. The because statement added to a gratitude has been shown to give many benefits physiologically to the body. It's been shown that when we use a gratitude statement that includes a cause, and I like to use a because with a tangible and concrete effect on me of that gratitude. So, in my gratitude statement about breakfast, I showed why I'm grateful for it. So the research shows that when we use a because statement in a gratitude, it lowers our cortisol, increases our sense of peace. And in patients at the Mayo Clinic many years ago, when they did the initial study on the because statement, it showed that people who had had procedures who used a gratitude statement healed in 3 weeks much better than the patients who did not use gratitudes. So when I ask my clients, or when I do gratitude statements every day, I use a because statement because it optimizes health. So at the end of every day, I highly recommend writing 2 or 3 gratitude statements, and maybe even one in each world, one for the mental waking world. For example, I would say, I'm grateful that I did a podcast today because I get my work and my message out to many people whom it could help. In the physical, biological world, I'm grateful that I feel healthy today because it allows me to do my work and to do it without struggling to stay functional. And I can function without necessarily thinking much about my body and how I feel. I'm grateful emotionally that I can share some wisdom and compassion and love with the people with whom I work and come in contact. And finally, spiritually, I'm grateful for the work I do and for the lives I touch and for the love I spread. So, those would be 4 examples of gratitudes, including the because statement. Is this making sense to you?
Yes, it is. I absolutely love it. And also, the new year is often framed as a reset button, new goals, new habits, new identity. But for many, it also highlights what didn't work last year. Do you think the self improvement culture sometimes pushes people to abandon parts of themselves too quickly?
I think that it's really important to take each day as a new opportunity and the new year as a new opportunity, especially this year, because of the cosmic aspects, the astrological configuration that we're all experiencing. It's a time of renewal, a time of innovation, a time where we have an opportunity to create a new world, a world that has peace and consciousness and unity as a global humanity. After all, we're all connected. We're all actually one consciousness split into fragments. And the fragments, as they come together, can empower each other. It was interesting. I went to a conference about a month ago, and it's a conference of women. It's a group called the Dames. It's an international group of women who are coming together to help empower each other. And it was a group of about 100 people. We met in person. Often we meet virtually, but we met in person. And it was an experience that I've never had before, of 100 women being together for 3 days, and there was no competition. There was only support for each other, empowering each other, helping each other, acting as um, referral sources for each other. And to me, it was a forecast for what we could possibly have in the new year as a collective consciousness on the whole planet. That we're coming into a time that is biblical, and we have a chance to eradicate evil in the world and to bring love and compassion back into humanity. So that is one of the tasks that I teach about because it's the 27th path of intelligence on the Kabbalistic tree of life. And it shows a cross between the lower mind and the higher mind. And the task of the 27th path of intelligence is to bring compassion and love instead of emotional reactions into the world. So if you can muster the consciousness to set your resolve to let go of reactivity and negativity and begin to recognize that every human on the planet in a body is struggling to be conscious, just struggling to overcome the incomplete psychological information we've been taught that focus us on the mental waking world instead of on the emotional angelic world that teaches us that we are spiritual beings pretending not to be, and that we're all capable of manifesting our fullest potential. In my work with noble energy maps, which are a map of the four worlds at the time of your critical development in terms of how you use your consciousness to navigate the world, those maps tell us that at 3 months of age, 99% of the population are here to manifest their full potential. You are part of that 99%. You are here, according to the scientific research on 45,000 statistical cases. You are here to manifest your full potential. In the new year, what are you willing to do to be the best self you can possibly be? On my website, Noble Energy Wellness is a free four-world assessment. All of you are welcome to go fill out that assessment, and I get a copy of it. And you're free to go on my calendar on Noble Energy Wellness and book a free update review of your four world assessment with me. You might be surprised at what it shows and how you can realign to your spiritual self, to your higher self. And truly, in 2026, with the cosmic support of the energy on now, Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus conjunct, and the Neptune in trine, that we have an opportunity to truly be conscious, and for each of you to reach fulfillment in your own self.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 100%. And that's a very different narrative from the new year, new you mindset.
Yes, it is recognizing that you already have everything. You don't need a new you. You just need to be the real you. What I like to say is when you know what you know, and no one can tell you you don't know what you know, do not compromise. You're not selfish. You're not stubborn. You're misaligned if you compromise what you know. You're knowing what you know and standing up for yourself honors who you are. And it is a place that I pray we listen to in our children, that children need to be brought up according to their soul. One of my books, available on Amazon and available, the links are on my website, is called Living from Soul. And I believe that when we live from our soul, we're in alignment, we know what we know, and we can be empowered. Live that way, and trust me, it will change your life.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And as we wrap up, I want to remind our listeners growth doesn't require urgency. You don't need to become someone else this year. You're allowed to evolve slowly, imperfectly, and honestly. Dr. Eleanor, thank you for bringing such depth, nuance, and grounded wisdom to a conversation that often is oversimplified. And to everyone listening, whether this season feels joyful, heavy, or somewhere in between, your pace is valid. Your questions are valid. And your life doesn't need to look perfect to be meaningful. This is Mind Over Matter. I'm Anya. So until next time, take care of your inner world. It's shaping more than you realize. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well. And thank you, all of the listeners, for listening.